Well, thank you for coming to the Vintage Tech for part 2 of the repair of the Channel Master Sanyo 8-inch television. After considerable work, I was able to restore the lost video for the second time. I was able to restore the video after replacing the vertical sync, vertical sweep caps, and then something happened, something went wrong and blew out the horizontal output transistor. That was the component that blew out. So I replaced the horizontal output transistor, and I went back through the sweep board, replaced a couple more capacitors, and made sure that all the solder connections were solid. I did discover one broken, cracked solder connection, and I repaired that. That might have been what forced or caused the horizontal output transistor to go into thermal runaway or something. That horizontal output transistor is $50. But after getting it all buttoned back up and putting a new transistor in, I was able to get video back on the screen. So the next video that you see will be the restored video. Very unstable, lots of roll, no sync really hardly at all, and it was quite the mess.
To find Robert's killer, investigators now look at who he was with each time he was poisoned.
So you can see the picture is back, but there's vertical linearities in terrible shape, and the video was very unstable and noisy. So I pulled the AGC video sync board out and replaced several capacitors that were reading in excess of 50 ohms equivalent series resistance. So I replaced all of the ones that were reading badly, particularly the low value, the 1 microfarad, 5 microfarad. I think there was a 10 microfarad cap, but there were several there that were low values that were really out of, just completely open basically. So I replaced those and put the board back in, and this was the result.
And the thud of a body falling into the bushes. We rushed over, and there on the ground below lay the body of old man Simmons.
Alrighty, there we have it. The caps on the sync AGC board, and replaced about 8 caps, and the set stabilized right out. So we've replaced about 12 caps total, and it's turned out beautifully. I'm very pleased with the stable picture. Got a little bit of hum bar in the video, but that is part of the noise in my radio, or in my TV station. Let me turn off there we go.
Do you, Alma, take this man to be your lawful wedded husband?
I do.
Do you, Luther, take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife? I do. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I now pronounce you man and wife. Luther, you can kiss her now. Attaboy, Luther!
I just had to get that last statement in there. So I'm going to put the case back on, and then we'll finish this up and run it on battery power. And I've got a battery back here in the back, little bitty battery here that'll fit, not this big one, but this one here will snap right inside set right inside the back of the case. So we'll hook that up and run the battery power and wrap this up.
To see the full TV schedule.
All right, we're finished with the reassembly of the Channel Master, and we've got a beautiful picture and a stable picture on the shack here. I'll flip the TV station through different channels, but got a little bit of noise on the antenna, but that's to be expected in this shop with all this electronic stuff running in the background here.
I'm so glad Roy saw that nurse got.
How about cash? What bread? No hot spots get even.
So be it.
So it's working great. The sound is great.
Quickly.
Got the little hood here
Someone utter those words.
for the sun shield.
Do you live in Bridgeport? You check out Bay Health.
And so I have some of the remaining caps here that I replaced on the video sync and AGC printed circuit board. They were the most of the lower values. There was one. It was 100 microfarad, but almost all of these were high, super high ESR, so leaky or almost completely open, and so I replaced them with close values. Did not have to do an alignment. As you can see, the picture is just as clear as it can be. It's got a nice bright picture tube. I can turn the brightness up all the way up. You can't really tell on the camera because it compensates, but it's extremely bright. Got great contrast. See, there's contrast. The range of contrast is extremely strong. So this is one of the better repairs,
Absolutely free.
and one of the better working sets that I've got. So it didn't have very many hours, and it turned out to be a beautiful little repair. Oh, and I forgot to mention that we are running on battery power. If you noticed, there's nothing plugged into the AC right now, and we're running on battery power off that little battery set right behind in this cabinet. And
It's 9:21, and the temperature is
so it's running. Pulls about 900 milliamps, so I'm estimating that we'll get about 2 hours of runtime, maybe 3 on one charge. But that's the current situation with this battery. I think that's what it said in the book, in fact. 3 hours. There we go. I was trying to get it to focus. So this liquid lead acid battery was about a 2 amp hour battery, and I think the one that's in here, which is a lead acid, sealed lead acid battery, is 1.2, I believe that's what it was, 1.2 amp hour. So you can estimate, depending on how low, how far you take it down, and how much power you have. Let's just, for giggles, still getting a problem with focusing here tonight. Let's plug this into AC. Okay, we got it plugged into AC, and I'm going to flip the switch here from DC to AC, and let's just watch and see if the screen blooms. Ready? Okay, so there's AC. I moved the antenna. Let's get rid of some of that noise. And now we're going back to DC. So very little difference. And then there's float, and that charges the battery while we're watching TV. Get the antenna to bring in the picture better. So there's DC, and that's charging straight charge right there. It turns everything off, and we get 8 amps or 8 watts from the charger here. Let's see, what kind of amps are we drawing? 90 milliamps to charge that battery, if that's accurate. Keep unplugging it. Let's see. Okay, we're back to 8 watts on charge. If we go to float, we're just at 19 watts. What is that in amps? 200 milliamps. So 19 watts on AC. Not a lot of power.
Okay, what is it?
Okay, get about on now.
Once again, thanks for watching
For a chance at a little
Vintage Tech.
and because I've fallen for it.
Oh, please, roll.